Moin, this is World War II in LEGO, I'm Erwin, and welcome to Building North Africa Part 4, I think? Yeah, it should be Part 4. So more or less what happened last week is that I just built up the entire base plate area and all that stuff. And now this week what I'm going to be focusing on is building the giant hill in the mock, and hopefully basically just trying out some hill techniques, all that different stuff. I really hope that this hill is actually going to be okay. But, I mean, it depends on what's the outcome. So, I think that now it's all said and done, I think I should transition to the table back here and start talking about what I have planned for this episode. More or less, what I'm probably going to focus on today is just plating up everything with plates for the hill, nothing else. This is probably going to be the biggest task of all because it's going to require many different layers and all that different stuff, all that fun stuff. So that's probably what I'm going to be focusing on for this episode. Probably next few episodes I'm going to be focusing on the surrounding areas. But yeah, that's about it. So without much further ado, I should probably hit the time lapse. There's a lesson to be learned here, and that is, do not put out a guide for you to follow to go along, because the problem is that over here I built using a guide, and basically more or less just a layer right here ended up being a lot steeper, and over here, which was it had a lot of a gentler kind of like slope to it, more or less. If you were to put it on a graph, this is very steep, this is more curving and gentler, and that causes a problem because what happens is that you don't have this usually where you have a steeper side over on one side of a hill and a lot gentler on another side. I mean, that rarely happens like that with just basically the topography. And so I think next time if I were to ever build this, I mean, obviously I'm going to need to build hills. That's kind of like a thing in mock building. You have to do that all the time. But so next time I do that, though, I need to not follow a guide. So this one over here, when I build that next, I'm not going to follow a guide because, yeah, it doesn't fit that well. And also, I more or less just kind of took off the last two layers because I was eating up, first of all, way too many bricks, and then second of all, I was just noticing that it would just be too compact together and I'd have to do, again, a very steep layer on top of another steep layer on top of another steep layer, and that just wouldn't have been very pleasing to the eye because I don't want very steep. I want more or less kind of like this of a gentle slope. I just want it to be nice and gently sloping. Kind of like that. So that's something to take in mind for next time. Otherwise, I think I'm going to call it quits for now. Probably going to come back tomorrow morning and really quickly just see what I need to do. So more or less, I looked at it again. I looked at the entire model. I think more or less it's okay-ish. I mean, it's in between. I would have to say the hill work is decent enough right now. I mean, I still gotta work on that. Yeah, it's okay for what it is. I mean, I'm still working on all my hill techniques and stuff like that. So I don't think I need to redo the hill again, even though I really want to. I think the only lesson to be learned here is I should not have basically just the entire thing planned out, like the entire hill. So I should not do that. I should just more or less set up an area where I want a hill to be and just build a hill from there. So I think that's a lesson to be learned, and I think that probably everyone should take notes about this, because what really happens is that when you follow everything step by step, you kind of get like this uniformed type of thing that you build in your mock. And really the thing about nature is that nothing is uniform in nature, so you want to really avoid uniformity. I mean, as much as possible in your mocks, as much as possible. Get all the unevenness, all the stuff, make sure it seems logical out of pure nature, and not just like you wanted to create something random and it just got too random to be actually nature. So there's got to be a balance basically in your mock for everything that would be natural and non-man-made. I think that should end the episode for today. Thank you for watching, and I think probably next week what I'm just going to be focusing on is, as I said before, just filling in all the sand and doing the tiny little hill. I think that should do it. Thank you for watching, and as always, keep on building.